With MLB The Show 21 being out, it is time for us to look at the attributes and go ahead and rank these starter diamonds so you can go ahead and pick the best two available to you. Now, first things first is you're going to want to go to the pack section and you're going to want to press buy packs and redeem this Roberto Clemente for free. You get him for 10 days basically, not on your team for 10 days, but you have 10 days left to go ahead and redeem him. He's going to be a primary right fielder that can play center field and left field. Keep in mind though, when you play a player at a secondary position, they lose some points in terms of their fielding number and reaction number. Usually it's -3 to 5. So Roberto Clemente most likely dropping from a 90 fielder to an 87, maybe even 86 fielder at center field, and his reaction will drop from being gold at an 81 to a silver reaction. His fielding drops from diamond all the way to gold. Now all around this card, great contact hitting card, and the power leaves a lot to be desired, especially against lefties. So against lefties, what you're going to be relying on is the contact numbers to get you base hits. But in terms of right field defense, he's exactly probably who you want out there. Great fielding, great arm. Reaction is not the greatest in the world, but gold is still good enough to put out there, even better than good enough actually. And then the speed at 50 should be good enough to have in right field and not have to worry about balls hit inside the gap. You're going to want to get him instantly in the game. That's going to be your first diamond. After that, you're going to go to your pack section and you're going to actually go and open up the 42 series starter diamond choice pack, and then you're going to go ahead and make your two decisions, which two diamonds are going to be joining Roberto Clemente. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you make that decision a lot easier. So if you're new here, end up enjoying today's content, make sure to hit that like button, red subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you want to become a channel member, all you have to do is join, click on the channel community tab, interact with me there. More Bhlademyst section has my other YouTube channels, and follow me on all my socials. I'm really active on Twitter and Instagram as well. Now let's dive into this. So we started off with number 10. Number 10 is going to be Frank Thomas. A lot of you might be wondering how he's such a good hitting first baseman. Well, unfortunately, that's all he is, a good hitting first baseman. He has no secondaries, and even at first where you don't need fielding, I'm not sure how comfortable you are having someone with that low reaction and that low fielding. I feel like 50-50 plays where a first baseman would normally dive for, he's most likely going to go ahead and miss, or it's going to hit off the glove, or he's going to get in a weird animation. The 39 speed, it's good enough for a first baseman. First basemans aren't too quick, so that's good enough. But the hitting is what really makes you want Frank Thomas. To be honest with you all, although, you're going to be able to find a lot of hitters that play first base either as a primary or secondary that can put the same numbers as Frank Thomas in terms of productions and maybe even in terms of attributes in general. So that's why Frank Thomas is number 10. At number 9, we're going to have Calrick Jr. Now, Calrick Jr., I love Cal. I think I said Cal right there, but I love Cal and I love his diamond cards usually. This one was disappointing to me because the fielding is gold and then the reaction is silver. So at short, he's not going to have the range you would expect a Calrick Jr. card to have. And that to me was probably the biggest takeaway from here. And then the hitting numbers, they're good. In terms of contact numbers, he's good. He has some pop against lefties and righties, but not good enough pop. You usually want those numbers to be at least in the 80s. So we rank him at number 9 because you can probably get yourself Bo Bichette and produce better numbers than this card can, and even Sander Bogarts or a bunch of the team affinities available. So if you can get any of those team affinities to produce better numbers, why would you waste a starter diamond pick on Calrick Jr. if he doesn't bring any sentimental value to you? You just don't do that. And then we go on to number 8. That is going to be Mariano Rivera. Now, Mariano Rivera, I told you all, what hurts Mariano Rivera, you want to have good bullpen arms in the beginning of the game. But when that bullpen arm has 3 fastballs and only 1 off-speed pitch, that really hurts you. Because every good player is going to say, okay, he only has 1 off-speed pitch. Off-speed pitch is going to move the same as that cutter. And then to add to that, the velocity between the cutter and the slider is only 8 miles. And usually a hitter can really just sit back and realize when it's the cutter, when it's the slider, and just adapt and hit away. So if he had a changeup added to his arsenal, that would make him a lot better, would even push him to probably top 5, but only having one off-speed pitch with 3 fastballs really hurts his overall stock. Now we head on to number 7. Number 7 is going to be Jackie Robinson. It's usually difficult to find good middle infielders. Jackie Robinson, the beauty of him is similar to Calrick Jr, but better than Calrick Jr. He has better contact numbers. The power numbers are decent for a second baseman. Usually they don't have too much pop. Fielding is silver, arm strength is bronze, and then reaction is gold. So the beauty about him, as opposed to Calrick Jr, is he actually has more range than Calrick Jr at second base. The fielding at silver is going to be good enough. The arm strength at 61 is what leaves you worrying about, hey, can he turn double plays effectively with a speedy runner running down the line? It's most likely that the speedy runner is going to be Jackie Robinson's arm, but the speed, base running, aggressiveness, and stealing, they're all good enough as well. The speed makes him really good when it comes to defense in general and his range at second base. So that's why we got him at number 7. But just like shortstop, there are going to be gold players and even team affinity players like Pedro Martinez that are going to be able to outperform Jackie Robinson. We move on to number 6, and the reason I keep looking over to my left is because I have an Excel sheet where I did the rankings based on the attributes. Now, we push Hank Aaron to number 6 because you get a free Roberto Clemente. And what position does that Roberto Clemente play, if you're wondering for yourself? He plays right field. Now, yes, overall, the hitting numbers from Hank Aaron, they're better, but that is in terms of power, not in terms of contact. Roberto Clemente beats him in terms of contact. Roberto Clemente beats him in terms of defense. And Roberto Clemente loses in terms of speed. But 50 speed, the 20 speed differential is not that bad, considering Roberto Clemente has diamond reaction, or gold reaction I believe it was, and diamond fielding. That helps him out a lot. He has a better arm, etc. So unless you're looking to have Hank Aaron play first base for you, because you're most likely gonna switch Roberto Clemente out there for Joey Gallo or one of the top affinities for right field, you're most likely gonna put Hank Aaron at first base. If not, if you for sure want Hank Aaron right field, you're just gonna have to slot Roberto Clemente over to left or something along those lines. You're gonna have to do something. But what I'm telling you is, if you get a free diamond right fielder, why waste a diamond pick on another right fielder to put him at a secondary position when you can just go ahead and have that free diamond that you just got? Now, at number 5 is going to be Willie Mays. Now, originally, I thought that Roberto Clemente was going to be a center fielder, so that would have actually improved the stock of Hank Aaron and basically decreased the stock of Willie Mays. But since he's not, Willie Mays is the best available option for center field in terms of defense and in terms of starter diamonds as well. He has diamond fielding inside the game, gold reaction, 77 speed is good enough to have out there in terms of tracking down balls in the gaps. And then, as I've said previously, he's a great hitter against lefties, a decent hitter against righties. He has good enough pop to hit you home runs against both sides, although, and then the contact numbers are good enough as well. I have him at number 5. And then at number 4, this is going to be a surprise to a lot of you, but it's actually Ken Griffey Jr. Why? Well, he's a platoon hitter. He is great against right-handed hitters, and he's okay against left-handed hitters. His fielding is great, being gold, and his reaction being gold is great as well. Arm strength being silver, it hurts you a little bit, but not too much. You just got to get some perfect throws or throw it to the relay guy, and the 71 speed is good enough to track balls out there. What makes Ken Griffey Jr. beautiful is his swing in the game plays above his attributes. So even if they do bring a lefty, his swing is so good that he can probably crush one out, no problem. And him having 79 power, he should be able to crush one out, no problem. I still think that if you pick any of these picks within the top 4, that you didn't go wrong. Because if you don't pick Ken Griffey Jr., you're going to leave a spot open at center field that usually is very hard to fill in. So Ken Griffey Jr. wouldn't be a bad option. But if you're going for one of the team affinity center fielders, then Ken Griffey Jr., he gets decreased in terms of value. Now we go over to the starting pitchers now for the top 3. We're going to go into Pedro Martinez first. I have him at number 3. Now, You can't go wrong with going with either of the two starting pitchers as your second choice. I want to make that very clear, and you can't go wrong with either picking the person I have at first and the person that I have at fourth as one of your first two picks. Pedro Martinez has amazing pitch differentials, 96 to 80 to 85 to 93 to 75. Amazing pitch differentials, and overall, I like all of his numbers. Now, the only unfortunate thing that I find is that even though he has amazing pitch differentials, it's a lot easier for hitters to sit back than it is for them to swing on time on a fastball that's coming in at 100 miles per hour. And if you get what I'm saying, then you know why Bob Gibson is number 2. Bob Gibson, just like Pedro, has an amazing arsenal. And the difference between Bob Gibson and Pedro is that 97 miles per hour is going to turn into 100 miles per hour inside the game. And that sinker at 94 is going to turn to 95, 96. The speed differentials are still there, so keep that in mind. And then as well, in the latter difficulties, when a pitcher throws faster, especially on Hall of Fame and Legend, it's harder to time him. Now, Pedro Martinez still throws hard enough. That's why I say you can get either number 2, you can get either number 3. Between Pedro and Bob Gibson, it's going to be up to you, your personal preference. Bob Gibson is a little bit more wild on the control side. Pedro Martinez is obviously a lot more controllable than Bob Gibson, but you sacrifice a bit of speed for some really good off-speed pitches. It's up to you to decide, although. I think both of them are great. I personally, with my second pick, went with Bob Gibson, although. And then, for the first pick, like I said, interchangeable between Babe Ruth and King Griffin Jr. I picked up Babe Ruth. Why, you might be asking. Those hitting attributes are the best hitting attributes out of any of the starter diamonds. So that off rip made me say, wow. Babe Ruth, bronze fielding at left field in the beginning of the game, that should be more than good enough at left field with common reaction that hurts him a lot. But this is the beauty of it. Babe Ruth can be your first baseman, and he's going to be good enough to basically outperform any first baseman, including Frank Thomas. And unlike Frank Thomas, Babe Ruth in this game has a cheat code swing that even though these attributes are amazing, he's going to play even above that. And I don't know what it is, but Babe Ruth in the outfield, even though his attributes look horrendous, usually he does a pretty good job and he's able to hold his ground. So I believe that the best hitting card inside the starter diamond choice pack is Babe Ruth. But as I said, you can't go wrong with a mix of combinations within the top 4. I think the top 4 are definitely those that should be picked 100% out of 100% of the times, because those are the ones that will basically fill in your team the nicest. Like I said, Babe Ruth can be your long-term first baseman, or he can be a left fielder out there until you find a better left fielder available. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Once again, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you want to become a member, just join channel, community tab, interact with me there. Channel, more Bhlademyst, my other YouTube channels. Follow me on all my socials, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Have a blessed day and night. Stay positive, stay safe, stay blessed. And I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out.